Hey guys, let's talk about drawing fantasy creatures. So, the fun thing about fantasy creatures is that you can draw them however you want because they're imaginary. No one can tell you you're wrong. Uh, if you want to make up a fantasy creature and change it to your own, fun way of making it, that's perfectly okay. But there are some ways to kind of help your fantasy creatures look interesting or maybe a little more realistic, like they could exist. So the first thing is if you take what we learned about drawing animals and kind of use basic shapes of what you would see in an animal to draw your fantasy creature. In this case, I'm going to talk about dragons, I think, because that's kind of a fantasy creature everybody knows about, and there's lots of different versions of dragons in different cultures. So if we look at the creatures that I have here, we've got four-legged fish, a bird, and we can take some of these things from these creatures and make our own fantasy creature by putting them together. So like if I wanted to use like the sort of body structure of the wolf, let me put the shapes that I have from the wolf here just roughly, obviously just sketching. Everybody just needs to practice sketching till they get good at putting down these soft lines that they can erase when they want to. So let's say I want kind of the wolf-ish body. This could be changed, right? Because I'm making an imaginary creature. But let's say instead of the wolf's head, I want to go for more of like a lizard, a dragon's head. So I'm going to rough in a different shape. Let's see if we can find some reference to give us ideas. If I look at real animals, okay, how about these Komodo dragons? If I look at real animals, I can kind of get ideas that will help me build my imaginary creature. Komodo dragons kind of have this, and then they have a tail. It's kind of starting to look like a dinosaur, which makes sense for a dragon, right? Okay, and then what if I want to do wings? Okay, and I'm going to reference a bat wing, kind of a classic. And if I could clean this up a little bit, maybe we can kind of see what's going on better. How my dragon's coming along. Alright, so I'm kind of getting a fun made-up dragon just by taking different animals and sort of putting their basic shapes together and getting a dragon. Let's see, what else could I do? Work in here. Birds. Oh, if I wanted to do more like a feathered wing. I did a bat wing on this one though, so let's see. Oh, how about antlers or horns? Sometimes the fantasy creatures will have crazy horns. I'll give this one this kind of addax is what this creature's called. Addax horn or antler. There you go. So this is the basic shape of a dragon that I've just made up based on a few different animals. And of course, going in and adding details is something that's going to give it a little more of your own like flavor and ideas, make it look more stylized or realistic, whatever you like, So there's one dragon. There could be lots of different ways to draw dragons or other, fantasy creatures. I've got some kind of reference sheets I've made here to give you some ideas. So I've got different kind of fantasy creatures from all different, cultures. And I've got my sketch version, where I just sketched them out, and then I've got a kind of a finished version where I've given them their details. So you can pause and look at any of these. Hopefully give you some ideas. I've also got this one where I was showing that, especially for like dragons and creatures, a shape can be, used as a base that then you can work on over and over again, and you can get completely different looks out of all the same shapes. So I've done that here. Each of these is a shape, and then I've turned them into the dragon's heads. So hopefully gives you some ideas of what you could do to make your own fantasy creature. Alright guys, bye. Have fun drawing.